another day, another episode on the podcast. Welcome again to the TFM Motorsports Podcast Season 3. This time we're back to normal on a Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We got some different things we're going to be talking about here. NASCAR, bringing in a brand new points format. Going to go give a deep dive into that and why that points season that's, the point system that's going to be happening this season is going to be definitely a step up compared to where they were with the playoffs for the last almost 10 years or so. We're also going to be talking about Hot Wheels. Nassau Coliseum could be done, as Hot Wheels just had their last event there. As currently, again, speculations going around. We'll talk about that. Plus information from All-Star Monster Trucks and Toughest and more. And again, if you guys want to call in and give feedback on anything you want, always feel free to go into the weight room in the Discord, ping me so I can bring you in right at the ping, and then you can talk about exactly what you want to talk about on the podcast. Big shout outs, of course, Barrett's, KSR Motorsports, and All Monster. Shout out to those guys, as we are definitely looking forward to seeing more from all three. All right, let's start off with NASCAR here. NASCAR has a brand new points system. The Chase technically is back, as they're calling it, the Chase. No more playoffs. Thank the Lord. Again, playoffs were definitely the big controversy. I mean, I made that video, 2 years ago, talking about how bad it was. Because I think 2024, what could have went wrong did go wrong. Again, no disrespect to Joey Logano, he can drive, but he had a very bad average to be up there on that top spot. But now we have this brand new points format, and I'm going to be going ahead and talking about it right now. So first with the old format, what they did was they had 26 regular races, and then they had the 16 drivers. They had qualifying depending on where you were in points, and then they also had winning you're in, and that had a lot of weird moves. Then they had 10 races across 4 rounds, eliminations after rounds 1 and 3, and the final 4 would battle for a one race for the championship. And that's pretty much what happened with the old format. And of course, for each round, it wasn't separated on points. They were just separated based off of each round it just refreshed everyone. So if you lucked in, you're technically good to go. But now we have the new format. The new format for NASCAR is the Chase. Again, 26 regular races, 16 drivers move on. No more winning you're in. It is based off of total points only. And it's no longer rounds. It's just 10 races straight up. No eliminations. You have to be consistent. And based off of where you start in the final 10 races, if you're first, you're going to have a huge advantage. And if you are last, you're going to start off with a very low amount of points, and you're going to have to work your way up throughout the entirety of the 10 races. And yep, instead of it just being brackets, it's the driver who has the most points after all the 10 races. So this I love a lot more. I'm very glad that NASCAR has a much better point system this season. Because from what I see, it's going to reward a lot more winning and consistency. Much better than the playoffs. Because playoffs, there was quite a lot of drivers in that system where they were, winning the championship based off of luck, But with this one, if you are first in points going into the chase, you have a huge advantage already. And if you could keep being consistent and get some wins, you're going to be going ahead and getting a huge advantage. And to top it off also, I think winning a NASCAR race now with this new chase format, you're going to be getting a good chunk of points compared to what you were getting in the playoffs. And once again, it doesn't reset because there's no more rounds. It's just only 10 races. So fantastic move by NASCAR and by some of the guys that are helping out over there. Again, I'm very glad that the management is starting to shift away. I'm glad they're starting to get new people in charge. I'm glad they're changing up their points. Definitely excited to see how it goes for this season coming up. And again, it's hard to pick who I think would win. Again, Larson just had a really good season, and again, I'm a Larson fan. But when it comes to who would beat the system, that one's going to be very tough to predict because this is a new system and all. So I guess going for a blind pick, obviously we'll go favorite Kyle Larson. We'll go back to back. And of course, you always gotta mention Denny Hamlin as well, because he was very close to getting that championship in a heartbreaking loss last season at Phoenix. But now with this 10 race format, if Denny could be consistent and do what he's been doing, he could have a shot. Again, he has to be very consistent, and then once he gets locked into the 16 drivers who are in the 10 race chase, he's got to stay consistent and stay up in front, as with any other driver in the top 16 after the first 26 races. So really, really good stuff. I'm really excited for what NASCAR is going to have for 2026. And again, that's my thoughts on the whole thing. Massive thumbs up compared to what we had with the playoffs. And yeah, and once again, shout out to some people that I really love to see the NASCAR weekly podcast. Those guys do really, really good stuff over there. So if you love a lot of NASCAR content, and if I don't bring up enough NASCAR stuff on the podcast, definitely check out the NASCAR weekly podcast. Because each week I listen to that every single time I go to work. It is a really, really good and fun podcast. So check those guys out. All right, let's shift gears now to Hot Wheels. They went to Nassau Coliseum just this past weekend, and it definitely was a different feeling going in because their advertisements was last time ever at Nassau Coliseum. And I think it's because there's been some really interesting developments going over there. People are debating and fighting over what they want over there. I've heard possibly a casino might be over there, and that may mess things up or something like that. And I heard some rumors of Nassau also maybe closing. I don't know what the deal is, but it just seems really abrupt because, the place, I think they first initially closed in after the 2015 stuff was done. Which luckily I was able to see the old configuration of the place when I went to Monster Jam that year. But yeah, after that they went ahead and they redid the place. They actually made the place a little smaller, and then they added a cool futuristic exterior, a little bit more of a modern arena exterior, and did some adjustments inside. They did quite a lot in that arena. And it looks like if that's the case, then this configuration only lasted roughly around 8 years? Actually, no, 9. It would be technically 9 years, I think, because I think they got done by 2017. I think I might be wrong, but yeah, if that arena ends up closing, then the reconfiguration was a waste, because that's only 9 years of having Nassau getting redone after having the old look for a while, and yeah, from what I've heard, it just was a lot of money spent. So I really hope this ain't the case, but if it is the case, then again, another sad sight to see that thing go, but also if you want to go to an arena that isn't in the middle of a city that's in New York and New Jersey, I guess Trenton is your closest bet. Because that's like right before the city. Because then you have Newark in the middle of the city, Albany in the middle of the city, Brooklyn in the middle of the city, Madison Square Garden, that's in the middle of the city. So yeah, it seems like Trenton might be your only bet if Nassau actually ends up shutting down. So that's what's going on for Hot Wheels. But I also realized they just went and they had like this stunt show, and I couldn't find videos of it until eventually, like just the last few days. Recommended ended up having those videos up on YouTube. So because there was a couple shows in the United Kingdom called Hot Wheels Stunt Show. It's literally just called that. It's pretty much like Hot Wheels, except the light fixtures aren't really the main thing. And, and it's just cars with stunts. There's also, like, quads and speedster stuff. Like, there's, like, a bunch of different vehicles and stunt people. And they're making that kid-focused, too. Like, I just saw some videos of it. I don't know why they went with that, because these guys are risking their asses on that, on like doing stunts like that. Like, even if it's just a basic loop or balancing a car on the side tires while also putting your hand out the window to put a Hot Wheels car on the floor while they were doing it, that takes a lot of skill and a lot of risk. And considering that that's being pushed mostly towards, the same demographic as they do with Hot Wheels anyway, that is because they're risking themselves, over this stuff. They should be given more of a brighter audience, like or broader, like get like everybody on board. Like from what I saw in the video, there was quite a lot of things that definitely would take balls. Like, I would not do those things. Those definitely would take serious nuggets. And it's just really weird that they went with that demographic. But if that thing ends up succeeding, then consider motorsports itself a kid's thing, I guess. As long as Hot Wheels doesn't touch like actual like racing or like motocross, I guess we'll be okay. But I just don't like how that's like taking off fast, but with that demographic. Anyway, moving on. Let's go to toughest. So this was their points last weekend. Again, I don't think the points have been updated just yet. Let's see here. I'm just gonna check quickly on Facebook here while I'm live. The points have not been updated since last week. So the points before we got to the previous weekend, we had Dirt Crew Dozer with 147 points in the lead. Just a few points behind is Blockhead with 144, Dirt Crew with 128, Maximus with 126, and I'm surprised Jurassic Attack and Velociraptor down at the bottom of the bracket for points, with Jurassic Attack with 123 and Velociraptor with 66. If anybody could fill me in, were they at the latest event that happened? Or were they just at the first show? Because the points definitely are a lot more egregious for like how far those are down. And considering with that team, they could really kick butt. So if anybody can inform me on like what happened, then that'd be nice. All right, and then for the All-Star Monster Truck Tour, before they went to their other location, I think this was after Naples. This is after Naples, Florida, before they went to Devi, Florida. I probably mispronounced that terribly. So their points were Kraken with 114, High Tide with 108, Misfire hanging in there with 89. Brooks kicking butt. Again, this is what I've said since Lebanon. She's got potential and she's hanging there with the big boys. Then Little Miss Madness with 74 and Rat Attack with 67. And nobody say that fucking meme. Anyway. And then when they went to Fort Lauderdale, they actually went and really packed the house and got a sold-out crowd in that little area. So again, congrats to All-Star for getting a very good turnout for one of their events. It was actually round 3 and 4, so I think they sold out both, which was really impressive. I guess they're like really big in the Florida area. Let's see what else we got here. As we talked about NASCAR, we talked about Toughest, talked about All-Star. Before we continue, again, I just want to thank everybody for the massive support on the latest episode of the podcast last Friday. That was definitely something that I was not expecting to have that much of a turn off or a turn on, because there was a lot of people that called in and like a lot of people that viewed and gave a comment. So I just want to thank you guys again for the support on the Tristan England episode of the podcast. Again, this episode might be a little bit brief, a little bit quick. Again, we're a little slow. Some people have said that the Monster Jam got pretty good. Again, I saw some videos, like somebody sent me a freestyle from Corey Rummel, which I thought was good. Or Cannon Murphy's freestyle with that save, which was nice. I'm still not watching a full event. Again, ever since Friday, that really, really turned me off bad. Again, they're gonna have to do a lot more than that, because I mean the drivers, they're good no matter what. It's just what they put up in front is what I was more talking about. How they present themselves, what they do during the shows, and yeah. And I think we might have somebody that's going to go on the podcast to kind of give in a little bit of a word. So I see that comment there from Maximum Grozer or Grozier. Again, I'm a little tired. Bear with me if I mispronounce the username. They want to talk about the Tristan Gate thing that happened on Friday, or before Friday. So again, you could go to the weight room if you're ready, and then I'll pop you right in. And he's going in right now, actually. All right. Is your mic working?
Yeah.
There we go. Again, welcome on into the podcast. And also, I saw you also join the server as well. Hope the server is, treating your needs with some cool monster truck and motorsport stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Thomas. Anyways, for y'all that are maybe familiar with who I am, I'm Austin Grozier, Maximum Grozier RC on Instagram. I scaled down Wheelman/chassis LMT trucks. I also was a competitor at Houston Mini Jam last February. And as well as an off-track RC competitor alongside all those guys. So I've been into monster trucks since I was much born, watching them on Grandpa's TV. It's insane to me how badly downhill Monster Jam has went, in my opinion, since 2017.
And just sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask you really quick. When did you get interested into monster trucks and Monster Jam? Like, what was the
Man,
first
year? I've been watching since 2004.
Ah, okay. So
like it's
I'm just 2 years ahead of you, because I got interested in 2006 because I saw Dennis's Minneapolis freestyle in 2005. They were like re-airing it on Speed. Holy shit! Yeah, that's
I know, man.
That still lives.
Yeah, and I didn't necessarily think that the show quality was inherently bad up until 2019, when they really started pushing the gimmicks on the trucks. And was one of those things that I just kind of forgave it because I grew up on Tom Mintz. I wanted to keep supporting and watching Tom Mintz for as long as he drove. And now that he stopped driving, 2 years or a year ago at this point, it's it's been one of those things that it's like, man, I tried to just keep into it and keep supporting Monster Jam for what it was, and it just tumbled so far downhill. Got former drivers that I personally know that I race with, down in like southern Missouri that are like, man, you almost feel like a predator going to one of these things because of how kid focused it's gotten. And it's really that feeling of motorsport that's getting scary to me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we like putting such an emphasis on trying to sell these crappy toys? I mean, I feel like ever since Ryan stepped out of the realm of Spin Master, they've not been held accountable for the quality of toys that are coming out either. For us collectors, we're getting a lot of repeats and we're getting a lot of these gimmicky one-off, almost like stunt-based toys that are coming out, and always been a thing. They didn't define the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was a little kid back in like '08, and I got like the Crash Cage Fire Stadium for Christmas, and that was like the coolest thing
Oh
ever.
yeah.
And it's like, man, that's got the World Finals playset trucks like up on display on my shelf. But man, it's like, you know, they didn't define the show. They did. We didn't have a World Finals opening Crash Cage Fire Stadium stunt that was essentially like the pinnacle of like whatever encore you were gonna get. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all just too toy based now. And even then, with like Hot Wheels, I really wanted to attend a Hot Wheels show because car crushing is a thing
Yeah.
there. And I got told, they're like, man, like I wouldn't do it for you because it's so kid focused that you're going to feel out of place. And I even got told by one of the Bigfoot drivers there.
But,
It was like it's
but
like last Monster Jam. He was at over there at St. Louis when we all went with the off track guys. He's like, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get much enjoyment out of the show because it's kid focused.
yeah, and yeah, if you want to know how Hot Wheels goes, again, you'll have to find out next month because I'm trying it out and I'm gonna give my honest feedback. So
Yeah,
again, that's
it
something
does
I've
come
been
to
promoting.
it does come to T-Mobile Center here in KC, and it's something I did want to check out. It's something I might this year check out over Monster Jam, just see how it is, because I grew up watching the Thunder Nationals events pretty much all throughout my childhood.
Yep.
When it was in Kemper, and then went on to what was the Sprint Center. Now it's called T-Mobile Center. But I feel like a lot of the competitiveness is lost in the toys sales. Like, and this is going on for I think a lot of tours and other aspects of motorsports right now. Is it's just we have this weird gray area. We're trying to over market toys more than we are actual competition,
Mm-hmm.
and it needs to stop because you have people like my dad that also grew up, up taking me to these things, and he won't even touch a Monster Jam event now because he said the show quality has gotten so bad. It's rush you in, rush you out,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's definitely trying to get toughest to come back or trying to find toughest monster truck tour, somewhere that's near that they're putting on a performance because that was just such a step up in show quality, in my opinion. Feels like actual competition, having all the independent teams, and you don't have that feeling of just toys thrown in your face. Everyone's allowed to sell their own merch. It's in the driver experience too was amazing. I went the last time they came to Silverstein Eye Centers before the pandemic. I was able to meet Mark McDonald, who was filling in for Jeremy Beck, and it was awesome because he walked me around the entire like the dirt crew truck, showed me all the modifications they made to the old Screaming Demon chassis that it runs on, and just I mean the fan service was amazing by those drivers.
Yeah.
And it's just not something we see in Monster Jam anymore. I don't feel like it. A lot of the trucks are just cookie cutter. They're not. The drivers all know they're probably just running a whatever CRD chassis that they have, and really the independents are the ones that'll talk to you more about the actual setup itself. But I mean, like I said, I miss Toughest Monster Truck Tour so much. I mean, like they need to come back.
But yeah, the independent scene is definitely something that should be cherished because again, doing the monster truck stuff, it ain't cheap. I mean, yeah, you got Toughest, Throwdown, Too Extreme, and of course KSR Motorsports, the guys that I'm helping out. They all have something in common. Most of them. There's a few out there that's Rotten Tomatoes, but there's again you got the ones that I mentioned that are really really good. They care about their fans and they love to give. And not only that, but if you just watch it based off of competition, you got trucks that are unique and like some people that bring out like completely different chassis and whatnot.
And I think
And
that's the magic we're missing now in Monster Jam.
I mean that's
When
one
it was
one of them.
when it was
There's
so
plenty.
different, when Tom was running his own chassis, was running their own chassis. Oh, you had Team Scream running all of their own equipment, Two Extreme running their own equipment.
And then you
It
had
just
Dennis with his too.
yeah, but it just doesn't feel like there's any sort of competition between teams now. And that's a feeling I think if they were to try and capitalize on, that it would bring some of the fans back, right? You can still have some of the regulation bull crap that's going on right now. I just want there to be competition and it not just feel like the same drivers are going to make it to the world finals every year just based off sponsorships and toy marketing. And that's like I said, that's one thing that just is missing. I I really think that a lot of it just feels so manufactured that it does feel like Ringling Brothers Gravedigger edition out there more so than it does Monster Jam now.
Yeah. Um. Now let's continue on that topic. Uh let's go on the Tristan thing. Because I think we brought it up just a little bit, but I want to get full more in depth in that. So obviously, you saw the move that he did, right?
Yeah. Obviously, the kick flip was very innovative. I think it was something that can completely be done safe in both stadiums and arenas. I don't understand the point of banning a driver when your main marketing goal is to say that there's innovation within this event, and you guys punish the innovation that's going on that is being done safely, mind you. This wasn't some stupid move like trying to do like a Leduc leap in an arena or something. No, it was something that was compact. It didn't damage the truck. It didn't throw fiberglass into the stands. It didn't do anything stupid. It's very similar to like how you brought up with the Ross Chastain wall ride.
Oh, that wasn't
It's
me,
been
but one thing I did bring up
oh
was the fact that it's pretty much the equivalent of if you were to do a like like you know how like they do the backflips and they hit the ramp. Instead of that,
yeah.
you're pretty much going forward and you're doing it off the ground. So basically, it has technically the same risks as a backflip if done wrong. So there's really
It really does.
no need to ban.
And you maybe remember since you and I have been around a while. You remember when the drivers first reacted to the backflips, like Medusa
Oh
hated
yeah,
it. Yeah, like there were drivers out there that were like, "This is dangerous. This is stupid." I think Candice Jolly, if I remember right, was one of them that said she wouldn't do it. Like there was a lot of backlash when that move came onto the scene in 2010 because there was a lot of the times there was not as much like innovation within I think like the cage design with some of these teams. You had some of the older like in-house made chassis that were just never going to stand a chance doing
yeah.
that kind of move. But now that the playing field is essentially artificially leveled. So in the world is wrong with this move. And you're going to limit these drivers to one two-wheel skills hit. Be their two-wheel skills hit, like because technically it uses a sky wheelie to rebound the truck, you know, or shoot, I mean, like, I don't see the problem with it. Like, it baffles my mind that people, just kind of see this and they just brush it off like it's no big deal, like that he got suspended. You guys, vote with your wallets. Like, you're not going to get change within the sport unless we vote with our damn wallets. Like, yeah, I'm going to Monster Jam because of this. This was one of two reasons. This is the second reason that just sprung up in the last like week and a half that finally got me to be like, I'm done with it. The first one was learning about the points deductions for going over your time in freestyle. That's stupid.
Oh,
I really
and
right.
and also if you see my one video, I managed to clip something from the podcast, Gears and Nachos. It's Bryce Kenny's podcast, and he has like several other drivers with them, and they talk about some like stories and whatnot. Ryan actually, you know, like actually hated it, and he like, you know, said
Yeah,
something
because
about it, and
it feels like you're
yeah.
just shoving people in to get them out because there's no fan service.
Oh,
You're not
and actually, and also yeah,
allowed to make
that
a move fans.
but yeah, also that is true to shove them in and out because that's what she said. Anyway, sorry.
You're good, bro.
I had to say it. That sounded funny. Anyway, with what was it? Oh yeah. So with the arena shows, I remember going to Newark and that was fun last year. But I'm glad I did because just a few months later, they took out the extra competition. So now arenas just have racing, skills, freestyle for a basic 8 truck field. Now, they still have the two hits in arenas, but still, the shows are even quicker than before. And I think I timed one of them less than 2 hours.
Wow.
Like
Like
we've
that's
never had that issue until they made the move.
yeah. And I mean it's shoving everybody in and out essentially to get 5 or 6 shows in 1 week. And obviously it's not 5 or 6. Maybe for some arena events, obviously not the stadium ones. But it's unbelievable to me. Like I remember when I was a kid, Saturday, Sunday, and you pick Sunday, they are going all out. And there was no holding back. Even Saturday, like there was talks of man, we till 3 o'clock last night, fixing this like this 4 link bar and this, steering knuckle and re-welding part of the chassis. And now it's just like, man, you damaged that truck, bend your ass, like it's it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, these things are meant to take a beating. They're meant to be damaged to some extent. That's what makes it fun, right? That's why they're no longer hard-bodied trucks on, an actual chassis that runs like, tractor tires. And we moved away from that in order to be able to essentially damage these things for fun and quickly put them back together again. And in some of that, like some damage is going to be more costly than others, right? But at the end of the day, you can fully put them back together, in a decent rate, before the next show. So, argument that Tristan damaged the truck somehow that caused him to be suspended, ridiculous. I don't see how. I didn't see a 4 link bar bend or anything chassis wise that would have been compromised.
No,
Um,
not at all. I mean, it was just a fast rotation, and it, it it didn't look like it landed hard at all on the back. It was just flawless.
no. And
Yeah,
that's the thing, man. I didn't even see, like, how when they land on the back hard, and the rear steer blows out. I didn't even see that.
yeah. It's either like a rear
So
steer blows or a 4 link bar bends, and you see that, and like usually the 4 link bars, that's usually like a done situation.
yeah. Which
But
speaking of
yeah.
which, see they let Jim run in St. Louis after like breaking a tire off
Oh
completely.
yeah, I saw that.
And I don't know if that was like a failure on the RII system
That
to like
probably
actually stop him
that probably was. That
because
probably
the
was.
light was flashing. But I was
Thank
like, man, like if that was Feld, like actually letting him go, like you got to give
no.
props to him at least for that one.
No, no. I think they were trying to get the RAI to work, and it probably didn't. And Jim's like, "Oh shit, it didn't work. All right, fuck it, let's go."
Yeah,
Oh my
that would have
god,
been too. Because
thank
what are you
you,
gonna do?
Jim
Suspend him?
Kohler.
Yeah, yeah. That's why Jim is probably the most awesome driver there
Yeah,
is right now. I think
yeah.
on the
There's
Monster Game circuit. Just, I mean, personality wise, and I mean, he's just been around so long. I mean,
yeah,
got so many years under his belt that he's just one of the most entertaining drivers to watch, both on and off track. Like,
yeah. I met Jim Kohler a couple times, dude. He's not only cool on the track, he's also cool off the track. He's definitely
yeah,
one of those
racing with him
personalities that
at
just stand out the most.
Mini Jam was probably one of the funnest things I've ever gotten to do. I still got a picture like we're like having mid conversation, and my grandma just snapped a random picture of the two of us.
Oh, you were at that event.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, cause dude, they're the mini jam guys. Those guys are talented with their tracks and
and
like
absolutely, it's an amazing production to
unbelievable.
actually go and see and take part in person.
Yeah.
Um, I allowed Jay to actually do my Neil Vandenberg Red Max D, which was awesome. It's a one of one body right now. Nobody else runs it. I kind of like it that way. You know what I mean? Like it's my
Mhm.
own Max D that it never ran, on Monster Jam circuit, on Tom nor Neil or any of the other fill-in drivers. So it's one of those things that I've kind of made a name for being the guy with the red Max D, which is kind of neat. But I'm looking to hopefully change it up pretty soon. I got a few other colors on the way, yellow and gold. Definitely be. I'm looking at them right now. The problem is they all only ran on the rear chassis. I don't like running rear engine stuff, so gonna kind of be like a what if I run them.
Hmm.
But yeah, absolutely though. I mean, like I said, Jim when he was there, like funny because I talked to all those guys. I'm like, you guys do the RC stuff, and Nick Kohler was the only one that really did it out, of all of them. And Chris looked at me and he just goes, I blew one of the axles apart on an LMT because I ran it into a cinder block.
Oh god. Only Chris Kohler.
Yeah, no, like man, that is par for the course for all of them. like, yeah, I can't play with the toys. I break them.
I mean,
Even there too, like Jim got pretty funny with Avenger. Like he'll sit there and do like 4 or 5 parade laps.
oh, I remember one of the videos. He just kept going, and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he will.
I cracked
It's
a
funny. He
smile.
will he will run down. Let me hear you scream by Ozzy Osbourne. He'll almost have that whole song finished by the time his parade laps are done.
And then they're gonna play it again, and then he goes.
Yep.
God, I hope he comes back to Lebanon because I was lucky enough to see Chris and Mayhem, but I remember a couple years ago I've seen videos from like Back Channel Productions where Jim was actually there. So hopefully he gets there because I do
Oh,
want to I
dude,
do want to see him live there.
a weird year in Missouri where we have in Grain Valley this little independent event called Monsters in the Valley. It's like at a dirt track. They'll do like modified like outlaw cars and stuff out there, like like in between like the monster truck stuff.
Ooh.
Normally it's too extreme that's out there doing it because they're based out of Tonganoxie, so obviously like driving up to Grain Valley is pretty much nothing for them. But we had this one off year. It was Team Scream. Man, they put on. I've actually got, I think got the videos on my channel of like Corey Rummel driving Raid, and
Oh.
we got Jim was there with Avenger, and it was pretty awesome to be able to see them locally, tear up that track because it was always something that I went to when I was a little kid, and they just kept doing it, and it was always like I said, the two extreme trucks, and somehow one year we get Team Scream there, and they put on a hell of a performance that year. I think it was like 2018, but yeah, and we and, him is my grandma's favorite, so of course she made it out of the house to go see him that year. It was pretty awesome, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just awesome to be able to go and support these little independent teams when everything just kind of feels like it's crumbling down around us on the big tours. And I encourage everybody to go out there and go support whatever independent show you can get your money into, because I we can grow something hopefully as a community. Maybe like toughest monster truck tour or monster truck throwdown. Enough of us get together, they'll hopefully grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really want to see them make it into a stadium at some
Oh,
point in time.
yes, yes. I am definitely behind you on that one. And yeah, it's something that I'm also trying to do with Motorsports Hour. Not just because I'm also doing the dirt racing stuff, but then I have the monster truck stuff, and I'm fully focused on only indies for that series, and I'm really trying to push that thing heavily. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely something that I'm really looking forward to continuing, and I got already quite a few tours that I'm going to try to go and support as much as I can. And of course, I'm helping KSR with their advertisements, and I'm also trying to push out their tour to some different promoters, so maybe they can get some more stops. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And I highly suggest to anyone that's listening, if you love independence, the best thing to do is take action and just go for it. I mean, if I can do it, so can y'all. So anything could help, really. Even a small like donation to like a tour or whatever would definitely help.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we used to have that toughest monster truck tour stop here in Independence, Missouri, and I really really miss that. So if anyone out there is listening that is part of that whole tour, please come back to Cable Dahmer Arena. Like we dearly miss you here in Independence and the Kansas City area. Like, come back. I will throw my money at y'all to on show, tear stuff up, and then I'll throw more money at you if you do a second one. Like, if that's the tour that can get my dad and my family, out to actually like go see monster trucks again without feeling like they're, watching a circus for babies, then so be it. Bring them back.
Yeah. Is there any events around your area, like currently?
So pretty much we have Monster Jam obviously comes around to T-Mobile Center. Didn't end up going to that. I was down with the flu that, and on top of that, I was just done. So it was like a 1-2 punch there. Wheels comes to T-Mobile Center as well, which didn't know could happen at first because I started seeing the advertisements for it, and I thought these arenas only had like a one tour contract for that kind of stuff.
Nope. Hot Wheels is starting to become competitive in the market for like stadiums. Monster Jam's untouchable, but arenas, Hot Wheels is close. Again, I pointed that out a
Yeah,
couple times. Like if you were to take out Monster Jam's stadium presence, although Monster Jam may be above Hot Wheels, it's only by a small margin. Because in many cases, Hot Wheels also does like 3 arenas per weekend, like 2 in the U.S. and 1 international. So it's really damn close if you think about it.
yeah, and I know they're starting to implement like the two-wheel skills. I
Yeah, yeah. There's some
stunts into their shows now too.
yeah,
So
there was somebody that works for them that made the ramp for them, and I think all the U.S. tours has it now, but they're still waiting on it for international. But I'm sure they'll be coming out very soon.
yeah, and to be honest, I think Hot Wheels needs to take the stride and actually getting the trucks like on dirt because obviously I love watching the old Thunder National style events. But if we could just get them and do like a space where they maybe have like a slightly larger setting to work with in the dirt shows, I think I would definitely be putting my money toward them. 'Cause they had a track, I think it was I don't remember where it was
Oh,
overseas.
it was Melbourne, Australia, I believe.
It probably was
It was this. It
because
was it the arena show that had dirt.
yeah, and
Yeah, it was.
the the trucks went so much higher, and not only that, but they almost had like almost like an early 2000s style track setup with, like the modern day, trucks and chassis and all that. And it was amazing to actually sit there and watch like the modern day trucks, like be able to tear up something that it's like it would have been like out of our childhood.
Mm-hmm. And
And
oh, go ahead.
I would kill for that. You know what I mean? Like I kill
Yeah.
for them just to be able just to put it all aside and just have every show be like that. I mean, I think it would take out Monster Jam
Mm.
if they were able to do it. Because you got like Bigfoot. Everyone and their grandpa wants to go see Bigfoot.
So do I.
You know,
I haven't seen Bigfoot in like freaking how long's it been? Like almost like 7 years.
well, they're also I
Since like
also feel
Racing
like
Lake Park years ago.
they're getting more exclusive though. I
I
feel like you
know.
you can't hardly see them. Like they used to be on almost every independent tour, and now they seem to just be doing Hot Wheels. And
And then the only
yeah,
times that they have like other Bigfoots is like partnering with like a different indie team to campaign a Bigfoot and like the Insanity Tour or Full Throttle.
yeah, where you had it on like the Mechanical Mischief chassis, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was that was interesting. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
mean,
would love to see at least a Bigfoot name in one of the places that I go to because, you know,
ooh, and we do have the O'Reilly's Outlaw Nationals. We do have like the Halloween event that's over in Springfield.
mm.
Oh, that's a good show right there. I swear, you get the Vodders guys out there. Oh man, my dad. I remember we were sitting in the stands, and he's like, "Man, I'd kill to see like a bicycle or something from one of these trucks." Mike Vodders the second comes out, and Overkill Evolution does it, and he's like, "Ask and you shall receive." Yeah, it was an amazing show. Like those guys, they just that big oval track setting, man. Like they had bus stacks. They had for the modern guys, they had the backflip ramp. They had van stacks. Like everything you would see with that one element from now. You know that just brought the two decades or two eras of the sport together that need to be there. You got car crushing and you've got the more technical backflip, two-wheel skill stuff, and it can be done.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of like one of those things that some of those tours, like especially Monster Jam, is just kind of lazy to the fact that it can absolutely be done and throw like plastic covers like Hot Wheels does over the cars and not have like any shrapnel possibly going into the stands. But doing, if the argument really is though, like they're doing too many shows to justify crush cars, I mean, have alternatives, like make a mold or something, you know how you used to have like the Play-Doh toys and you could like make a mold out of the Play-Doh.
The Play-Doh, yeah.
Like make do something like that, like fill the car like with sand or something. That way it like retains its shape. Leave them out there. Like you don't even have to like use like licensed vehicles that way. You just have a generic car, van, bus. They talk about innovation. Obviously, we can't have that now because we see what happens when innovation happens. But talk about innovation. Innovate. Like bring those older elements into your track that won't crush down as easy, or like you move it almost like a prop. And there you go. You get almost like the two eras of the sport colliding, and I'd think everybody would be happy.
Yep. And just really the a lot of the times when I hear somebody talk about like what they want for like a monster truck track, a lot of the times it's combine the old with the new, like have that perfect medium. You have like, the cars and the buses for like the old fans, and then the backflips and maybe like a kicker ramp for the new people. So you got like everything far in between, and then the rest of it's just full creativity. Like
Oh,
that's something
I
that
think they
would
did it
definitely work in
perfectly.
today's climate.
I think they did it perfectly for the last ever Samboy, or not the last ever Samboy event, but the All Star event
Hmm.
2019.
Yeah, they had a good
Like
combination with that track.
I feel like that. Like I had nothing to really complain about when they did a track like that. Even if the crush cars were like sunk into the dirt, like still had essentially like you still had like the ramp that led to the backflip ramp on the one side, kind of like how they had like 2011 onward, like 2011 to like 20, I want to say like 2015, how they'd have like the container backflip instead of the, like the container where they can hit it on both sides. There's just a one side hit. They had
Yeah.
one of those. They had the triple stack. They had the big center jump. There's a lot of like elements that really we wanted to see, brought back like one more time there in Vegas, and then they never did it again. Even like for like the post Vegas World Finals events, I think they should still maybe like try and incorporate some of that into the World Finals. But even then, like they have the crush car rule, yet in LA they had just a row of crush cars out with like no protection or whatever, around them. Like it was like at the very end of like in the end zone area. Like they had like three crush cars like from like the Sparkle Smash stunt, and they just threw them over there. And then
Yeah.
obviously had the Fortnite bus smash thing. Like they don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me that they tried to justify like the crush car rule with safety, and then they just forget about it and do it again. I mean, if they want to, be my guest. Like, I'm not going to complain about it, but I don't know. Like, there are ways we can innovate, and there are ways we can bring a good mix of people that just want the two-wheel skill stuff and the people that want the destruction. We can bring that together. I just don't think people want to come up with a compromise.
Yeah, and let's go back to the appeal. Being like for kids mostly. Again, my dad said when we were going out somewhere, he said the best thing to have it to make it the most money, it would have to be appealing neutral, like have everybody involved. And heck, let's also tie this in with a comment that's been recently posted on Facebook just a couple hours ago from one of the legends of the sport, John Seasock.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna read it off right now, and I'm gonna put it up on screen in a second. So yeah, I found this on Facebook. I showed people, and then I reposted on Facebook as well. Let's make sure we can see that. Yep. Okay. Just double checking. All right. Public service announcement for promoters. Take this for what it's worth. Follow Jesse Cole's mentality. That's what made Monster Jam what it was when it was at its best. Treat every fan as if they are your only fan. Everyone deserves a magical experience, no matter age, race, gender, etc. Take the time to listen to the fans. They are the ones paying your bills. Without the fans, it's nothing. Take the time to thank each fan for the support. Jesse Cole's team is on the right track. That's why they are who they are and able to sell out everywhere they go. Major props. Hashtag Jesse Cole. Hashtag Savannah Bananas. And that's what he posted on Facebook, and it's just straight up facts. Just appeal
Oh,
to
yeah.
everyone, and then for the people who are considered hardcore fans and really watch this thing nonstop, give them something special. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
with
mean, you
all
don't
that,
want
it's
to
just
alienate people from what they grew up with. Obviously, the end product is very different from the product that we obviously grew up with, and even our parents see it and our grandparents see it. And obviously, it's one of those trade-offs. Like fans that have been with you that will support you for to come, and their generations are going to support you as they have kids. You're going to turn them away from the sport because you're catering to little Jaden that's wearing a shirt that says "Monster Trucks are my jam," for his birthday, and because of that, you're essentially out here neglecting the other side of your audience that has been there for and ever and ever. And it's pretty sad, to be honest, like that we threw our money, into this, make it as big as what it is. Now we feel like our opinions, our voices, and our thoughts can or can't and won't be heard by Feld itself, just because it doesn't align with their vision of Monster Jam. It's like I said earlier, it's became Ringling Brothers Gravedigger Edition, quite literally, with the addition of like Big Circuit and Wreck Deck Truck and
Well, even
Sparkle
then,
Smash.
I also want to point out I think they're slowly kind of pushing Gravedigger at least a little bit away because they mostly have Megalodon, Sparkle Smash, and well sometimes El Toro, but usually it's like Meg and Sparkle Smash. They would like market it heavily. So I mean Gravedigger maybe. I mean they do have a couple things like that they've done like the recent Lego thing that they did at what was it Orlando.
Yeah,
But majority of the time, it's not as out in the forefront. At least to
yeah,
my knowledge, I've been barely keeping up.
yeah, which is honestly surprising because even anybody knows Gravedigger, which and I don't know. I did hear possibly there was some friction going on between the Andersons and Feld,
Oh yeah,
which
that was talked about in the last episode of the
yeah,
podcast.
I
Some
remember
saying,
that. I say this right now. I heard Tom Mintz fan saying this. I will go out and support the Andersons in any way, shape, or form possible if they do decide to do something against Feld.
mm-hmm,
I will be there for them. I will be wearing Gravedigger shirts. I'll wear a Son of a Digger shirt. I don't care. I'll buy flags.
mm-hmm,
I'll try and rope as many people in to come see them, do their thing if they do decide to do something like that, because that is absolutely, I think, something that is kind of needs to happen with the way that Monster Jam's going. Like there needs to be some form of split off between what it once stood for and what it now stands for, and for what it once stood for. I, destruction, competition, and definitely a for the fans environment. And I
yeah,
don't feel like it stands for that now.
yeah. They definitely need like something to shake them up because obviously I don't think there's gonna be enough people to leave to really make them change their mind. So I think with that move, if that ever does happen, that could be something. But again, right now, most likely it's not going to happen. But if that ever does happen, then that would be very massive. But also, as I've said time and time again, there's been cases of like the Andersons saying things of what the fans want. Again, back to the podcast with that episode with Ryan Anderson on Bryce Kenny's podcast. Like what Ryan Anderson usually says is like looking out for the fans and whatnot, and I really respect him for that. So yeah, like the Andersons, they know what what the fans really want for like a monster truck show compared
Oh yeah.
to yeah, and they've seen the writing on the wall. And hell, there's been cases back then where Dennis was not afraid to say what the hell was going on. Like again,
Oh yeah.
2004 in Minneapolis when he hit the wall and the officials didn't let him go. He was ranting because it was just he got ripped off from that move, so he was motivated to come back, which was something he didn't usually do during like the beginning or like towards the middle of the season. He usually was just there in the beginning of the season in Minneapolis at the time, but he was motivated to come back and kick butt there. And hell, I think it was the same place where he also had another rant where it was only heard on speed, where the show flow was way too fast and it costed him racing, and he went off a little bit saying that the guys just need to slow down and catch their breath. And it's like, yeah, speak out your mind, dude. And that's another reason why I really respect the Andersons and why I'm like a big fan. They know when to speak out and they know what's right for the sport. They need to they need to speak out more, and hopefully Feld could listen.
Yeah, and it's not only the Andersons either. Like I felt, obviously Tom has never said anything, but I felt bad for Tom in St. Louis that last go around. We went that Sunday because it was going to be his last in the Edward Jones Dome at America's Center, or whatever you all call it, and went and did a backflip, backed up, and his time had expired. but you could tell like they shut him off in the because his back tire like went just about 2 or 3 foot into the out of bounds area. And Tom started doing with his hands like, hey, let me refire, let me refire. Like he wanted to go for the fans, and they wouldn't let him do it. And you could kind of tell he was frustrated because like he still had like a completely intact truck. I mean, hell, the body was still on the thing. And he said, he's like, I want to end my St. Louis tenure with the body off the truck. And you knew he was going to go out something, absolutely insane for the fans. And Feld just turned around and, on his very last go around, St. Louis didn't let him do it. He is known, for those crazy freestyles in St. Louis that everybody I'm sure remembered, 2 or 3 generations up. Their parents would watch, and then their kids would watch, and then eventually, if it made it far enough, the grandkids would watch. But
Yeah, it used to be something where it was like a cycle. Like you would start off, and then you would have your kids, and then they would watch, and then eventually they're older. Like it just kept going, But now, um, based off of everything that I've seen, and I've said this before, it's turning more into a phase instead of something that could be kept up for years to come.
well,
And again,
and it's
I
it's
pointed
evident,
out,
man.
yeah, I pointed out many different things, and through DMs, I sent you that one video that I did if you haven't seen it. But
Yeah,
in that video, there's quite a few points, and yeah, after this, you could definitely check that out.
yeah, and that's one of those things. My little brother grew out of it because he felt alienated.
Oh,
That's another thing too.
when did he grow out of it?
Uh, and it was like 2020, 2021 when they started really pushing like the toys and the
Hmm.
like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
and he's 12, right? So like
And yeah,
he was
he's
he was a Gravedigger fan growing up, so it's not even like Grave still out there. Now my truck's been retired, but like you should still want to go see Gravedigger, but it just lost interest in it because They're just it was the same year in and year out, the same pod, the same, format. It always felt like the same. I mean, now granted, like he went 1 year and Gravedigger, this is when they just started. I think it was like the 2.0 BKT tires or something like that. Like when they just did the thinner sidewall, they had like 2 crush cars out there that they used as a turning post. And first hit freestyle Gravedigger, I think it was Brandon Vincent, if I remember right. Like hit the side of the pod, landed on the crush car, and they popped the back rear tire, on the driver's side, and that was it. They shut him off, done. And he was like the most disappointed kid there, like along with pretty much everybody else's kids that wanted to see Gravedigger run because like you're gonna shut them off after one hit, popping a tire. Like I watched a run from like 20. I want to say it was like 2014, or it was either 2014 or 20. Yeah, it was 2014. Dennis was running around an arena and popped a tire, and they just let him keep going. Oh, like nothing happened, and he still. I mean, God, he still had the like the flow of a stadium show just in that tiny little space
yeah.
with a blown tire, and there wasn't no danger of like anybody like with the tire like blowing anything into the audience or anything. I just I don't know. Like I think that's like one of the defining moments was Feld's, you know, strict RII button hitting that just kind of turned him away because it just wasn't. I mean, he even remembers like some of the aspects, like when you go and there'll be some destruction. Like he's obviously way younger, so kind of on the back end of like the Gen Alpha kids. So it's like they don't remember as much, as we do, but still, I mean, enough to turn a kid away from going to these kinds of things. Like it's just wild to me that, it's like that fast, you grow out of something. My dad won't go to it. My mom's kind of just, like, like I don't want to support it if you're not supporting it. So, like even kids, I feel like that I feel like they're growing out of it just because they're bored.
Yeah, it's not only that, but also during the show, um, they have all these different mini games that they have. And recently, I actually was looking through some events because people are saying, "Hey, you should check out some more events," even though you stop watching. And I'm like, I mean, I'll skim through it, but I won't watch it in full. Because then I went to the Orlando event. I looked at that. They had yet another kid thing added, and it was from like the Bailey Circuit thing, and it's like a red light, green light game, but it had this like weird voice actor thing.
Oh yeah,
It was like if I was there, I would probably be like trying to like make an excuse to like go to the bathroom or like put my head down or something, just so then like I'm not like that's not what it was like supposed to be about, but they just added that.
and a
and
lot of
and
a
also
lot of
wait
people.
wait one more thing. And I'm thinking, okay, I wonder what even this Bailey Circuit thing even is. So, and I looked up on YouTube. So it's not just something on like their uh, Ringling show, but apparently they also have like a little kid show on YouTube as well. So I'm like, I could see why. And yeah,
Yeah, once
it's too
again,
much.
the argument toward the feel, like it just, I feel like Bailey Circuit, funny enough, people talk crap on like Rec Deck and Sparkle Smash. Like, there are some adults that can get behind those two things. Like, if you like skateboarding, or, I mean, even my girlfriend, she was like, I love you in a truck. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. No,
Yeah,
Bailey Circuit, though,
but I just wanted to
that,
point out there was also like there was a group of like young adult girls that were like having like Sparkle Smash shirts. So I mean, at least that kind of worked. But yeah, back to your Bailey Circuit point.
yeah, but I feel like Bailey Circuit, though, in recent years, like in recent time, which is, you're talking about all these new truck editions, right? I feel like it's the most egregious trying to pander to little kids like possible. I mean, it's like, you don't I didn't understand it when it first came out. I thought it was just a circus act, but you just, told me that essentially it's a little kids like segment on Feld's YouTube channel, which is interesting. But even then, like every event, they have like the robot dog doing backflips and stuff, and like,
Yeah, like they
I
heavily promoted it. It's like you can't. It's not
you
like again. It's not like back then when they first introduced like I don't know the trucking pals or whatever. That was like off to the side, like for like kids'
yeah,
birthday parties and like little preschool toys that you could just ignore. It's like okay, off to the side, no problem. It's just to get babies started in the sport, so then eventually they can grow up into young adults. But now all that shit's just front and center, like you can't escape it. It's like right there.
well, and to me, the toys were never the issue until they became the main, essentially, marketing tool of not only all Feld events but the World Finals itself.
Yeah, there
Having the
was there was
toys,
that there was that one video.
yeah, and it's like the it feels like all the toys, like it's got to be like the stunts are dictated by the toys, like I said, earlier when we were talking. And I feel like the whole Bailey Circuit thing is going to get out of hand. Like, mark my words, it's going to be pushed even further than it is now to sell toys. I guarantee you, those little robot dog things that we had when we were kids, you could teach them like very basic commands and they would learn them. I guarantee you they will try and do something in the form of like some sort of like Monster Jam toy that's Bailey Circuit themed, that it does that same thing. They're gonna heavily promote it. I almost want to put money down. Man, I'd get on RainBet right now and put money toward there being a Bailey Circuit themed stunt this year at the World Finals.
Oh well, if that actually does happen, I hope you get paid handsomely for it,
Yeah,
because
I'm
you don't
sorry, man, but I'd almost
you're
be
not
willing to do it.
you're,
Like,
I'm saying like you're not off. Like I do see them doing that.
but I mean, I won't be there to see it because I stood my ground with the fix the format crowd. I was I was there like I had a bunch of my friends, like, is there anything I can do to change your mind about the format? And I'm like, no. I said, because if we do not stand our ground when it comes to like these format changes or anything that we don't like with Feld, all they're gonna do is just keep doing it. And so the same people that I know, like I have no animosity toward them. Like if they wanted to go and experience it, but I personally wasn't gonna throw, the money out of my wallet to Feld to go see the World Finals, and the format was gonna suck. So, like I almost wanted to just go there and try and buy Max D fiberglass and then just go back home, like all the way from KC to Utah and back. But
I mean, there is Facebook Marketplace, so I mean,
yeah,
if you're lucky, because I try to look up fiberglass pieces and I am not lucky.
yeah.
Yeah,
If I
I
buy any more,
would.
man, my
Yeah.
dad's gonna kill me because I already got a XD door sitting in my room. I've got two
Oh,
fists.
dude, I gotta see that.
Yeah, I can show you, after the show. But
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy though, because like I said, it was standing my ground, and so were a bunch of my friends, like commenting relentlessly on the post, like fix the format. And when it didn't happen, we should have all just been like, that's it. We're not gonna attend then, because you can throw what is essentially the monster truck equivalent of the home run derby, with
Or
the
the
all star, the
or
high jump and the two wheel skill stuff into the world finals. And I was still hesitant about it, but I went to support Tom, for the 20th anniversary, which by the way, we got screwed on
yeah, there's
for an encore.
yeah, I remember ranting. There was not a 20th anniversary encore,
Oh yeah,
and and what ended up happening in its place was halfway through the show was a Thunder Roars jump, like of that year of all years for
yeah,
your
I know,
biggest
man.
driver.
I went, dude. Like I was a mamma jamma after that show, because I was like, where is it? Like, you guys are gonna snub Mints, on his 20th anniversary. And even my grandma's like, man, I'm sorry, like that's hard.
hmm
And like there's a lot of people around me like, that's it, like where is it? Because surely they did a whole special body and everything for it. Why would they not?
Yeah,
And
I
then
think that special body was done by
it was Star
yeah,
Creations.
it wasn't even Feld, it was Star Creations.
Yeah, so I've got the door to that sitting in my room. By the way,
Oh,
that's
that's
the
the
one
door.
that's but
Ooh.
yeah, like it's those things that, like, I remember he got snubbed then. And I'm like, okay, well then he announced his retirement the year after that, and I'm like, oh, that's why they didn't do a 20th anniversary encore. Save it for next year and do like a finale of Max D thing. Well, then he got hurt, and then
And then even then they didn't have anything for him. It was just Sparkle
yeah,
Smash,
Sparkle Smash.
Fortnite.
That you want to talk about feeling
Sorry.
alienated. Yeah, you want to talk about feeling alienated when your halftime stunt was, like Fortnite. I was like, oh, like, this isn't what it's about. Like, obviously the bus, like the destruction of the bus was neat, but
But yeah, the one
I don't
thing
know.
that saved that event was Zach Garner winning racing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then
I'm
again,
definitely glad I went for that.
yeah, again, and then I remember being like, "Oh my god, yes!" And I couldn't like shout loud because it was already a little late. So I was just like, "Oh my god, yeah!" And then once I saw, you know, Zach getting a hug from his father Jamie, that I started tearing up because that was like
Yeah, that.
beautiful. That was beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was an emotional moment for sure.
Yeah,
Like
and I think
watching that
honestly,
whole.
this might be a hot take, but I think this might have been the last historic Monster Jam moment. I guess you know what? It's either that or Todd LeDuc's racing win on a swan song. I think that one or Todd's win. I think one of those was like the last like storybook moments. One of those two. I think we're never gonna get anything like those again. In
Probably
my
not.
opinion.
The way it's going, probably not. I
Yeah,
mean,
because like again, yeah, I think Todd LeDuc's win last year. I think that's like the last storybook moment. I think.
I mean, unless you
That
can
might
get like
be.
the Robbins brothers both into the World Finals and have them win. I mean, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Or unless
But
have like either Montana or Triton, have them win, or Johnson Zimmer Jr. get him a championship or something. One or the other. But yeah, that's my thought um, because have you seen actually the advertisements from like the last World Finals?
uh-uh.
Okay, I'll have to send you some of them because I did find them on on an app, not an app, but like a website. You're actually able to find like television commercials that like aired. I found like Monster Jam ones, and I found the World Finals one
Oh wow.
for the first Salt Lake City one. Because obviously, when they upload it on YouTube for like the venue preview, it's not actually the one that's on TV, so you're not getting the full picture. But I managed to find it, and still, just like the one on YouTube, they did not advertise the championships. They just advertised more trucks there and a big pit party. That's it. Like it's that's the one thing that I really can't get behind is the fact that they've stopped really advertising the championships, but the only time that they bring it up is when you're actually at the show.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of crazy because I'm sitting here right now looking at a World Finals 12 advertisement poster that had ever since I was a little kid. In the picture is Dennis Anderson holding up, like a World Finals like freestyle trophy, and they advertised the championships back then pretty heavily. I remember, like, what's
Yeah,
changed,
yeah. There was like
like in
yeah, there was like
and it's like
videos
the
of. Oh, sorry.
continuity too between. Oh, you're good, man. It's like the continuity between like the All Star Challenge and the World Finals as well drew a very blurry line between like what is more important to win now, because obviously like the All Star event with the teams was neat, but I feel like they should have used like the high jump and the two wheel skills more heavily in the All Star Challenge and then just left them out of World Finals. But it got really confusing there for a bit. Like it's like, so you're gonna have like high jump and two wheel skills in the World Finals, which is essentially, like I said earlier, like speaking in baseball terms, like that's like stuff you'd see at the All Star game, like the home run derby, kind of like high jump.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna have this All Star Challenge that would fit perfectly. Like, don't get me wrong, like that would be the perfect event to have a high jump, and the two wheel skills there. But then you're gonna stick them in the World Finals and not what would make more sense, like an All Star event for monster trucks. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to like think with common sense here. Like, I've never watched a World Series. They did a home run derby in between innings. Like,
Yeah, with I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something, but uh, I'm a little fried in the brain from my long day, so I'm not I'm not sure what I was gonna say. But
oh, I'm a night shift worker. I still got a long day ahead of me, man. Like,
oh dang, how do you do that stuff? That's my question. Because I think my friend, I think he also has like a night shift too. Like how do you guys do that stuff?
lots of caffeine, and I think about the money I'm gonna get paid, and then I go dump the money on Crawford Performance Engineering. You know, all my truck stuff. But
Yeah, because for me, I work like a 9 to 6 or 9 to 5, and I'm just drained after that. So,
oh, dude, trust me, I'm drained too. I come home and I hit the bed, pretty hard. But
but yeah, I'm actually I'm toughing it out right now. But as soon as I'm done with the podcast, eventually, probably in like maybe 5 6 minutes, I'm gonna be showering and sleeping fast, like right away. I'll probably power nap tonight.
shoot, I don't blame you. I've been there plenty of times. But yeah, like I said, like it's one of those things though, man. It's I kind of like it's interesting though, just the way they market the World Finals, like we were talking about. Like it has gotten so far,
Oh,
into the realm of family friendly
yeah.
entertainment versus actual competition. Like
I remember. I remember.
we just need a title sponsor back, dude.
Yeah, and and again, I tagged you in the Monster Jam page because that's where I posted the commercial. Underneath it, I also found the 2017 one. And hell, in 2017, when technically they were going into this more sporty feel, which lasted like about maybe 6 years or so before they started going into more of a kid feel, they were advertising the championships back then as well, and that is considered that wasn't even considered old school Monster Jam. Well, now it's a past generation of Monster Jam now, because
Yeah.
you got like the four generations. You have the first one, which is okay, finding your footing and finding your identity throughout the '90s, and then the 2000s to like 2014 destruction, 2015 to, again, it's debatable, either 2020, 21. I'd say probably like just about at the world, like after the world finals of 2022 was the sports identity, and then post season 2022 to currently, it's this like new thing, this kid appeal that's been, and it's not like the sport version, like the motorsport to a sport, where that one was like a huge like kick in the butt because it was like a fast, transition. This one, they're trying to play it smart. They're like going slow and steady and adding things over time to like shift the demographic more and more and more.
And you can kind of
I noticed this, and they're trying to be smart with this, but fuck, I noticed it since the first move, which was when they did that weird BeamNG video trying to be exactly either like Hot Wheels or like those fucking content farm people who used BeamNG and put like large wheels going into like
Oh
a
yeah.
portal thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And how does this have like a million views?
Yeah,
Um,
I actually say that it started even before that, man. I really credit it to starting back in 2017 with the shift to the pod style tracks. That hey, we're gonna start going in this direction away from crush cars. Because these less and less crush cars were on the track, right? Which
yeah,
was a shift from like 2015, early like 2016. Feel like so you started to have like these like really steep angular jumps. Like we're gonna shift it into more of like a technical sense. They weren't doing two wheel skills yet, but you could kind of tell they were trying to take it somewhere new.
yeah,
But and then I feel like it just snowballed from there. You know what I mean? Like then after Ryan Anderson did the moonwalk, that was now we have two wheel skills, and now we're going to emphasize that for kind of the weird identity crisis they had there for a bit, where now we're getting away from destruction and on to technicality, but the technicality really wasn't developed until Ryan did that moonwalk, because unless you were really good at slap wheelies, that was just about the only two wheel stuff you were going to see out there, besides just the normal big air and backflips. But they went on to that, and then feel like they had another weird shift in 2019 when they the world finals away from Sam Boyd and pissed everybody off. Like
it,
I get when a move is necessary,
yeah. But
like
it's funny, they pissed off two different communities. They first pissed off the big hardcore guys at Sam Boyd, because technically they still had 2 years left.
that's
2019
true.
had the All Star Challenge, and 2020, before that got canceled because of the pandemic, they were gonna have a regular stadium event there. And then the other thing was they pissed off me and the other people at New Jersey / New York, because they were gonna have it at MetLife, but they moved it. Now, some people are saying it could be because of WrestleMania, but that was like a month before the World Finals. I don't know what it was, but yeah, that was a kick in the balls, and there still hasn't been a MetLife talk since.
I know. Well, actually, they kind of were post testing parking out at Arrowhead Stadium at one point. I think it was like 21. or something like that because they got the contract to go do like a summer show there in Arrowhead. And I still do know the guy who used to work for Two Extreme Racing. He had insight before the Cretans left that essentially they wanted to test parking at Arrowhead out there, World Finals.
Hmm.
So we, even here in KC, like we were going to have something. It was very under the radar that they were testing anything, but we were going to have something, World Finals related out here, probably. And then they decided against it, because Arrowhead really not that big of a stadium, and Kansas City's kind of it's not really a tourist destination.
Not
Obviously, we're
really.
having the World Cup here, and we have Kansas Motor Speedway, but it's we're not. There's no way you can spin Kansas City to be a major tourist hub. I mean, we don't have like Cedar Point or Disneyland or like a bunch of tourist traps. You know, we're just a bunch of Midwesterners out here that have nothing else better to do but to go to a small amusement park, occasionally go see a NASCAR race or a Chiefs game. Like
Yeah.
it's it wasn't the best location, but even then, like we were excited. We thought maybe we'd get the World Finals out here, but we ended up getting it, and doesn't even sound like we're going to get hardly any more Arrowhead. I think Arrowhead, the Chiefs and all them are going to move out to Overland Park, which is across the state line, and Arrowhead Stadium is going to sit like Sam Boyd is now. So, but like I think with the fire and ice stuff though, that's what I was going to bring up though. Like in 2020, I think the fire and ice event was another step toward like the identity crisis because then you had, let's see here, like looking at my wall of toys right now that all have Mac D. You had Fire and Ice, you had Gears and Galaxies, you had Nitro Neon, Earth versus Serve, Hunter. Oh, like there were supposedly all these like thematic, weird, like spin off bodies we were supposed to get and then never did. Like the closest to Gears and Galaxies we got was obviously Dalmatian Galaxy. And that I feel like that was another identity crisis toward the pushing toward kids and toys, you know,
Yeah. And
started with that.
yeah, possibly, but I think for me, honestly, probably like either. It's kind of hard to tell because I remember at one point they went crazy with like the things during the show and everything. By 2014 is when they really started. I mean, 2023, excuse me. 2023 they had the theme song for like the start of like every show, and then 20
Oh yeah, my
yeah.
mom. Oh, you that made my mom. She it actually pissed her off
Really?
because she's like all they're doing is copying Sunday Night Football.
Oh,
You ever think about that? Like
I didn't know. I thought
it
it
is
was just
it
like
is
a something
very
kid
very
thing.
similar.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. Look up like the opening intro to like Sunday Night Football, you know, versus the Monster Jam theme song. They are so damn similar. It's not even funny. Like
Sunday
you,
football theme.
yeah, waiting all day for a
2023.
Sunday night.
Waiting all day Saturday night.
No, waiting all day for a Sunday
Yeah.
night. Yeah, that
Well, I got it right now.
dude. I mean, it is so similar to.
I do see similarities.
Yeah, and that's what my mom like. She was like, "It's all they're trying to do is just copy Sunday Night Football. Like it's just one of the little gimmicks they're trying to throw in there."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but then the part that really got me though for like the changes was 2024 is when they started having all those different mini games and stuff like that throughout the entire show whenever they stop. It's like if a truck flips over or whatnot, instead of going and interviewing the driver who flipped over like how they used to, they just go to a
yeah,
random kid who's going there for the first time. and they get a small interview and also get to play a game to get Spin Master merchandise or
Yeah,
Truck and
this
Pal
is
stuff.
Aiden. He's watching Brain Rot on his tablet while Thunder Roars is being flipped back over. Let's give him a Thunder Roars drive playset.
Yeah,
Like
look at this Truck and Pals race. Why? If this thing actually becomes a show, I'm going to kill myself.
is
I
that like in the talks
Cause
right now?
well, cause they were gonna do something revolving around. I think it was like a 2D anime thing. They were gonna possibly do with I forgot what company it was. It was like Gears and Galaxy. That I think that was like 2023 or four. I think it was 2023 that they announced, but I think that's been since scrapped. And now I know because the studio went out of business. So but now that they're doing these animated things with a different studio with these truck and pals, now that's got me wondering if they actually go out of their way and make a show based off of this. And oh, wait a minute, I got another thought. If they end up making Monster Jam just like that, that would be bad. Have you thought of that? Like
No, but
that
I
the
believe like
the
I could see it because you realize like body they come out with is something 3D now. There's other than circuit to the credit. It's before before everybody jumps on me like, well, there's Bailey Circuit. Somehow we got an F-150 out of that. But I mean, I could see it though. I mean, like, yeah, you got the shark, you got the unicorn, you got the bull, you got the dinosaur. I
yeah,
mean, you got
because
two
they're
dinosaurs if you consider Jurassic Attack.
yeah,
Oh,
because well, even
School
then
Bus,
Jurassic
oh boy,
Yeah, well, even then, Jurassic Tech would have to get like a
you'd have to get licensing for that, and they're
yeah,
not going to do that.
because that's Team Throw Monster. But they're already scaling back on tracks. They're making them a little bit more flatter. And even then, the East track, although there's ramps that are tall, they're like long, so you're only able to get like distance air and not exactly big air. Um, and they took away that like steep ramp from like last year, so you can't get that moonshot no more. Um,
Yeah,
but so like they're making the tracks flatter. They're doing all these new strict rules and whatnot and regulations. Do you think that could lead to that? Because they're already like starting to scale back.
and I really could see it leading to that because if you create essentially a cash cow that's just marketing toys and saving money with every event that you have over the weekend, and say you're running like 4 events, I mean, yeah, when it becomes a TV show, little Timmy watches, and then he can go see it in real life, and it's arguably more watered down than Hot Wheels is. Yeah, because in the end, more and more of these bodies are coming out that are just elaborate. Like you got Sparkle Smash, Megalodon's a literal Digatron's a like a backhoe. You got, obviously it's not easy to replace like Classroom Crusher. It's a whole bus,
Mm-hmm.
and all these bodies they're 3D. They obviously are elaborate to make. They're to be expensive when they roll over. I mean, I remember both Lonnie and Jason Childress talking about the old Batman truck. They'd all cringe when it'd flip. It was the most expensive fiberglass body that they had out there, and that's just, man,
I
like
would.
that one
Oh
really
yeah.
wasn't. That really wasn't like that elaborate, like versus what we have now. So I mean, just you can imagine though, like they're probably just trying to save face on the fiberglass costs and make it into something that they don't have to worry about every weekend, having to get a new front clip for Sparkle Smash, and replace a little confetti cannon thing that's in there and the inflatable horn, or, having to, make an entirely new body on Megalodon because the thing sheared off one piece and then got ran over, like I could absolutely see it. And then on top of that, you're catering to, little Johnny that's there, for his 5th birthday party, that's there to see, the Gravedigger Circus, like I say. And I mean, you really do have a point there. Like, I
Because
could see it becoming like a TV phenomenon
yeah,
for little.
yeah, because there is um 'cause there's been quite a lot of like different animations that they did. Like, because I remember the original that they had, and then they went out of their way to remake the animation um, for the original for like the shows. I noticed, and then they also added like a secondary remake. So like, and of course there was also that Megalodon animation for the World Finals last year. So like, they're really getting busy with these animations, and again, it's not like, bowling animations where it just pops up. No, this is like actually pushed up a little bit more in your face.
They need to do that every time like a truck flips on an independent tour. Like have like a
Well,
like a strike
let,
or
let,
something.
like one of those low budget
Yeah, yeah.
like on purpose get like one of those bowling alley animators, have like a low quality video and just have like a less designed animated truck.
Yeah.
Uh
Crush car's like running away or something like that. Hits a sharp turn, the truck just goes flipping out of control, like into a wall.
yeah. Oh my god. I
That
think
would be
yeah.
entertaining.
I guess I could probably just watch these like old bowling alley animations before I go to sleep.
Yeah, then
That's probably what I'm
like
gonna be doing, just out of curiosity, because I thoroughly I thoroughly do look at those, but also I'm gonna try not to get them mixed up with the other ones because some people make parodies and they're actually, some of them are pretty fucked up. So
oh, I know, I've seen them. They're
yeah,
my favorites to
yeah,
watch, man.
yeah. We're not gonna point at any of them because some of them are very offensive.
Oh yeah.
So all right,
Yep.
I think we're getting close to end it here. I think we're just about almost 2 hours in. I'm glad you joined on because it almost felt like I was gonna end it off like 30 minutes sharp. But with this conversation, I think this was much needed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there definitely is a lot to add, when it comes to, the sport in general. And I think motorsports as a whole right now is going down kind of this weird dark path that it really needs to just turn around and, get back onto course before we completely lose the plot.
Yeah,
Because you guys obviously talked about, I think it was like the last podcast, how there's like noise deduction or points deductions now for even like supercross, which is ridiculous. You
yeah,
know,
and I just learned that too, and I'm like, oh shit. But I mean,
yeah,
at least with as I pointed out in the first topic, which is the main topic of today's episode with NASCAR, at least they have this new points format where it is much better than what they did with that stupid playoff thing. So
I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so at least there's a step up in that direction, and I am interested in seeing what NASCAR is going to do.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully kind of legitimizes, NASCAR just a little bit more because I know when it comes to like Monster Jam, we can sit there and act like the points are, something to brag about, but in all reality, who really gets into the world finals? It's going to be the big Feld sponsored trucks before
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
else.
and I
Because I feel
remember
that Hans Zimmer Jr. has been screwed out of a main field spot for like what the last 2 years.
yeah, until he eventually got in by actually winning a championship
Yeah,
in points, but and again another thing that that Offshock Productions pointed out, shout out to him. He said in like a video that like the points for for Monster Jam, they just like they don't have like like a risk to them. Like you get into a certain amount of like spots, like top five or whatever, you make it in. If not, you got to go to the LCQ, or you might not make it in at all. Like there has to be like some sort of risk and reward. But with this this thing, although there's points and it's fun to keep up with at points, there's just no reason really, even if you place second. Like I forgot what tour it was. There was somebody that placed second and still went to the last chance qualifier, but somebody who placed fifth got into the main field. Like it's like ass backwards logic.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't want to exactly get like the driver names mixed up here, but I think I know that the you're actually talking about because I think there was I definitely think there was a sponsored truck that got in that everyone was like, well, hang on, like that truck did not score high, in the points ranking. A couple independents I think scored higher. I think Chris Kohler was one of them even, and ended up getting into the last chance qualifier. But yeah, like it definitely does need like a point shift for sure. Like I even feel like maybe it was like that a little bit when we were younger. So you had the bigger Feld names in before anybody else, but still had some interesting names that would get into the world finals occasionally. Like, remember, I think the most memorable one from when first time I went in Vegas was Jeremy Slivko in Backdraft got in, and everybody and their mother, that I knew at the time was pretty much rooting for him because, you know, pretty small independent team, to get into the world finals into a main spot. So I hopefully more of that ends up happening, but I definitely do think the point system, needs to be reworked and, legitimized more so there's risk. But who knows? We're probably going to be looking at like TV show quality stuff pretty soon, that's not even points based at all.
Yeah, we're gonna get there at some point, as we've talked about quite a bit. But is there anything else you want to add before we end it off here?
Man, I don't believe so. But one thing I do maybe have to add is, y'all vote with your wallets. When it comes to Feld, if they're doing something you don't like and and you don't want to support it, support another independent tour like I was talking about earlier. Make these independent tours bigger, so Feld eventually has to listen to us. Because if we can support, like Toughest Monster Truck Tour, Throwdown, or any of the other, little independent tours that, can get out there to more locations, it might absolutely give us a better, quality of performance and point series with the independents than, the corporate giant will. So, like I said, don't be afraid to voice your opinions either. I know I've gotten some flack recently on Facebook, a lot of laugh reacts and ratios for what I've been saying, but I'll continue to say it and I'll continue to say it until I'm blue in the face because it's what I believe in. So,
Yeah, it's always good to voice your opinion, and also if it's something that's you got to get off your chest, the best thing to do is let it out. And
absolutely.
that's what I've strongly encouraged. Anyway, so we're gonna go off the air, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in here to this Monday night. If we have enough information to go over, we'll be back next Monday. If not, then whenever there'll be more information, we'll be back on live on the air, and of course, we'll have the phone line on Discord all open and ready for y'all. Thank you very much for joining in, and hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And in terms of NASCAR, hopefully the season comes up quick, and I'll be tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that as well. Thank you guys for joining in, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right.